two-handed sword for your builds. This is going to be an amazing weapon for a paladin, two-handing paladin, for a fighter, for a barbarian. Now this is the staple weapon for a barbarian. This bad boy is going to be very efficient against big creatures. So in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about this weapon. Let's talk about the properties that this weapon is going to have, and also let's show you real fast how can you get this amazing weapon, which you are going to get it in the Act 3 of the game. So yeah, that is a bummer, but just have in mind that the Act 3 of the game is still like 50 plus hours of content, so that is actually quite amazing. Now the very first thing that this weapon is going to have is that it is a legendary weapon. Being a legendary weapon is going to have a +3 to your attack rolls and also +3 to your damage rolls, plus the modifier on the strength that you have, so that is amazing. Now the amazing thing about this weapon also is that it's going to have the Giant Slayer trait, which reads on a hit double damage from your strength modifier. This weapon grants you advantage in attack rolls against large, huge, or gargantuan creatures. The thing is that there's quite a lot of large creatures on the Act 3 of the game, so you're going to have to double the damage against those guys, and there's going to be roaming quite a lot of creatures that are going to give you issues. And it is in your best interest to get this thing as soon as you start the Act 3 of the game, for you not to have that much of an issue trying to deal with them. The next thing that this weapon is going to have, it's going to be the giant form, which is one of my favorite things about this thing. It replenishes after a short rest, and it grows into a fearsome size. Your weapons deal an additional 1d6 damage, and you gain 27 temporary hit points, and advantage on strength checks and saving throws. So you're basically, mostly the strength checks that you are going to have in this game are going to be like toppling or going prone, so it's very difficult for the enemy to prone you or to knock you down. It's going to give you hit points, but an additional 1d6 damage at all times. Well, it's just going to last for 10 turns, but it's still actually quite amazing. The one and final thing that it is going to have, and this is again going to be mainly, it's going to have the traits of the several of the two-handed weapons that you have for this game, but the next thing that it is going to have is Topple the Big Folk. And again, you're going to be fighting against quite a lot of big creatures. This is going to replenish after a short rest, and it's going to deal an additional damage equal to your proficiency bonus, but also on the large creatures, large, huge, gargantuan creatures, which, like I said, there's going to be many of them on the Act 3 of the game, you're going to deal an additional 2 to 12 slashing damage. And they also have to succeed a saving throw for strength or be knocked down, so that is actually quite amazing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, for general purposes there's going to be a better weapon. We'll talk about this weapon later on a different video, but for fighting big creatures, this is going to be your go-to. This is going to be the main thing that you do want to use. So how do we actually get the weapon? Well, thankfully enough, you can actually get it as soon as you start the Act 3 of the game. So that is, it is highly advisable that as soon as you start this thing, you go to get this thing. When you enter the Act 3 of the game, you are going to be finding yourself right here, which is going to be Rivington. It's just a little small town outside for Baldur. But you're going to have to, before you enter Baldur, there's going to be many ways for you to be able to enter Baldur, and you are going to have to go through the Worm's Rock Fortress. Once you enter the Worm's Rock Fortress, this is going to be the place where you're going to enter from. You're going to go this side right here, and then here you will find the path towards the prison. Now there's many different ways that you can actually go inside the Worm's Rock prison right here as well. I killed the guard that is just right on the left, so if you kill this guy, nothing is going to happen. There's not going to be any kind of impact up top on the top floor, so you can most certainly go inside here and do not worry about anything else. And this is where we're going to stop. Now, to open the Worm's Path, you are going to have to use a electric spell against those bad boys that we have right there. So let's use Cold Lightning right here. You use your electric spell right here that is going to turn into a different color, and then you're going to use another electric spell right here. This is going to open the path towards the Wormrock dungeon, the Worm's Way. And yeah, now we're going to stop right here because that is what I love about this game. Dungeons and Dragons. This is just a side activity, but it's just so compelling. It's just an extra dungeon. There's going to be enemies that you are going to be able to fight right there. There's going to be puzzles. It's just an overall an amazing experience. At the end of the dungeon, there's going to be several of different things that you are going to find after you fight the boss in this dungeon. You're going to get the weapon. And yeah, I mean, it's just amazing the sheer amount of content that this game has. Anyways, if you like the content, so like and I really super appreciate it. Now I told you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. I will be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people next one. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.